If you're looking for high-quality stocks that the market may be quietly mispricing as we head into early 2026, then this video could be one of the most important ones you watch this year. Because today we're breaking down 5 fundamentally strong companies that are trading at valuations that simply don't reflect their long-term cash-generating power. And before we even get into the stocks, let's take a second to appreciate the market context we're in right now. Because over the last few years, the S&P 500 has delivered back-to-back gains north of 20%. And now we're sitting just under that level again, which raises a huge question for investors heading into 2026. Do we get another solid double-digit year, a more modest positive return, or do things finally cool off? And historically, this is where the January setup matters a lot, because there's something called the January trifecta pulled straight from the Stock Trader's Almanac, which includes a positive Santa Claus rally, a strong first 5 trading days of January, and a positive month overall. And when all three line up, the market has finished the year higher, nearly 90% of the time since 1950, with average gains close to 18%. And while the Santa Claus rally has been slightly negative so far, there's still time for that to flip. But regardless of short-term moves, the real opportunity right now is not in chasing hype or price momentum. It's in identifying high-quality businesses with durable cash flows that are temporarily out of favor. Which brings us to our first stock, Chevron, ticker CVMX, a company that has been pressured recently due to falling oil prices with crude hovering under $60 per barrel. But that pressure is exactly why long-term investors should be paying attention, because Chevron has already endured low-price environments before and come out stronger. And much of the pessimism around energy is likely already baked into the stock, especially when you consider Chevron's aggressive investments in technology, AI, and the completion of its Hess acquisition, which are expected to translate into significantly higher free cash flow moving forward. And historically, you don't want to buy energy stocks when oil is expensive. You want them when sentiment is weak. And at a roughly $300 billion market cap with only about 5% gains over the past year, Chevron stands out not just for valuation but for shareholder returns. With nearly 4 decades of consecutive dividend growth and a yield around 4.5%, plus consistent buybacks. And analysts are projecting free cash flow to rebound strongly in 2026, making the current valuation far more attractive than the market narrative suggests. And from there we move into a stock many investors once wrote off completely, Meta Platforms. Ticker Meta, which is a perfect example of how fundamentals always matter eventually. Because while sentiment has fluctuated wildly, the business itself has continued printing cash. With nearly $190 billion in trailing revenue, operating margins north of 43%, and free cash flow exceeding $40 billion annually, even while massively investing in AI infrastructure. And the key here is efficiency. Because if capital spending moderates even slightly, Meta's free cash flow could explode higher. And unlike the fear-based metaverse narrative, this is really about owning one of the most dominant advertising platforms in the world, enhanced by AI-driven targeting, which benefits both advertisers and Meta's bottom line. And with a forward pay in the low 20s, Meta is actually the cheapest of the mega-cap tech giants, despite its massive cash generation, which is exactly the type of disconnect long-term investors look for. And next up is Netflix, ticker NFLX, a company that has fully transitioned from growth at any cost to disciplined profitability, with rising revenues, expanding margins, and free cash flow now sitting around $9 billion. And while recent acquisitions and studio-related uncertainty have weighed on the stock short-term, that pressure has created what long-term investors recognize as an accumulation phase, because Netflix now operates with margins near all-time highs, a global content moat, and a valuation that is well below its historical average, even as earnings continue to grow and the market spent years doubting Netflix's profitability. But now the numbers are proving otherwise, and after that we shift to one of the most overlooked compounders in the market, AutoZone, ticker AZO, which isn't flashy, doesn't pay a dividend, and rarely makes headlines, but quietly compounds through every economic cycle. And with the average age of vehicles in the US now approaching 13 years, breakdowns are inevitable, which makes AutoZone inherently resilient, because people don't delay fixing their cars based on economic sentiment. And despite underperforming the broader market recently, earnings are expected to grow at a strong pace, giving the stock a very reasonable PEG ratio and reinforcing the idea that this isn't cheap because it's broken. It's cheap because it's boring. And finally, we wrap up with Booking Holdings, ticker BTNG, one of the strongest global travel platforms, which stands to benefit from easing interest rates, rising earnings, and consumers historically choosing to spend rather than save when conditions improve. And Booking's platform economics, high margins, and record free cash flow position it well heading into 2026, even after recovering strongly from pandemic lows. And when you step back and look at all 5 of these companies together, the common theme is simple: high-quality businesses, strong cash flows, reasonable valuations, and temporary market skepticism, which is exactly where long-term opportunities are born. And the key isn't rushing in all at once, but staying patient, watching for pullbacks, and sticking to fundamentals. And if you had to choose just one of these stocks heading into January 2026, which would it be? Let me know in the comments. And if you found value in this breakdown, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe. And as always, this content is for educational purposes only and should not be considered financial advice. Because every investor's situation is different, and the goal here is to help you think long-term, not make short-term decisions.